everyone, welcome to this special event gimp tutorial. Special event tutorial. And today's tutorial is about adapting from GIMP to Photoshop. This is for GIMP users who are just switching to Photoshop. They want to know the differences in interface and like with all the controls, so they can adapt easily to Photoshop and get right to it pretty much. This is the final. Last week's tutorial was like the final actual GIMP tutorial, and next week's tutorial will be an actual Photoshop tutorial, and from now on I'll be manufacturing tutorials for Adobe products such as, well, in this stage it'll be Photoshop and Illustrator, and in the future somewhere down the road I might do stuff for Fireworks, Flash, Dreamweaver. Yeah, so hopefully the rest of my tutorials will go well. And I'd like to thank everybody who's watched my videos and everybody who's subscribed to my videos. I'd like to say the car customization series, when I modified a 2009 Ford Cougar in 7 parts, I think that went extremely well. Not as much views as I would have liked, but still can't argue with results really. So yes, I'd like to thank everybody who's watched my videos and making the NighthawkMedia GIMP tutorial such a big success. I will see you guys in the future, well, this tutorial and next week, when I'm starting to do Adobe tutorials. Thank you for watching, and let's get to the tutorial. Alright, so I've got Photoshop open here and GIMP is starting up. I'm going to put GIMP to the right hand side of my screen so we can have Photoshop on the left and GIMP on the right. Alright, so we have here the filters menu. Now we got blur, enhance, distort. We got all the famous options. Actually, alright, so we have filters in here. Blur, gouge and blur is a very famous one. So it's not in Photoshop. It's not a lot different. We have blur, distort, noise. If I click show all menu items, we still got all the same options as GIMP, so not a lot of difference there. Alright, so we got the selection menu. We got select all, deselect, reselect. I don't think we have reselect in GIMP actually. I'll have a look. Select none. Yeah, we have reselect, which is quite convenient. So let's say I make a selection, a box selection like that, just around the cat. I can go select, deselect, and maybe if I accidentally click that and I want that selection, just go reselect, no worries. Control D. Control D is deselect, which is the hotkey, Photoshop's hotkey, and I think that makes more sense than Shift Control A in GIMP. So the hotkeys are much more easy to remember in Photoshop than in GIMP. So let's go have a look at an image here. Same sort of stuff. Adjustments. We got all that sort of stuff there. Show all menu items. Hue, saturation, desaturate, brightness, contrast. And in GIMP, image, mode. Yeah, we don't have adjustments there, which is So that's a nice way to get into those adjustments there. Another way we can do it is go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then go to, let's say, Brightness and Contrast. Let's say we want to get more color into this photo. Not saying there's not a lot of color in there, there is a lot of color in there already. I just want to see what we can do. So I'd usually go down, take the brightness down, put the contrast up. It's that sort of method is good with landscape photography, like taking photos of snow and trees and stuff. That's a good way to do it when you like an outdoorsy sort of photo. So hit OK, and in the layers menu here, excuse me, we've got a bit of a kind of like a layer, but not quite a layer. It's called an adjustment layer. So if I were to hide the layer, the adjustment has gone. So before, after, before, after. So yeah, so that's quite convenient to have. And if you don't like that adjustment, just delete it. Yes, please. Alright, so select inverse is just like gimp's invert. So if I go select, I'll show you something. If I go to my toolbox and get the square select tool out, I'd go select invert, and I've selected everything except what's inside the square, so I've swapped the selections around. Same thing with inverse in Photoshop, basically just a different name. So I go select inverse, and same thing has happened there. Got another good 4 minutes left of the tutorial, but it shouldn't take too long. We got here the dock. In GIMP we have lots of dialogues floating around the place, and in Photoshop it's more easily organized is the word I'm looking for there. So I have 2 docks. I've got all my necessities there. I've got layers, channels, paths, colors, swatches, styles. Don't use styles much actually. I've got navigator, which is a real good tool. Say if you zoomed in a fair bit. Got the red square in the center of the image. You can drag the box in the navigator dialog around to get where you want to go. That's not a bad thing to have. I have the second dock. I got history, actions, tool presets, brushes. I got the wording options, so I got characters and paragraph options. So that's a pretty good thing to have. I browse. If I go to browse, I think I might open Adobe Bridge or something, which is what happens with which is what comes with all Adobe software, standalone and packaged software. I think I'm accident of Bridge is opening now. Might just get back to Photoshop. Alright, so we got when we're in GIMP in selections, just drag this over. I'll just go to select none for a sec, and I'll draw a square, and then I'll go to the tool options, and we got select modes, selection modes. And if I went to this last one, which is intersect, I would draw another square, and then I'll make a bit of a smaller. That selection will be made smaller. So I've drawn another square into the first one. Same with Photoshop, although the options is up here, and all the tool options is up here nowadays. So I'm now in intersect. I've made a smaller square. Good for when you're doing glossy effects and stuff. Yeah. Here's a new thing in Photoshop. If you were to click and hold on a menu item, you bring up a menu. So gradient tool is behind the paint bucket tool. So paint bucket tool's on there at the moment. Click and hold, menu pops up, drag over to gradient tool and let go. And now you're in the gradient tool. Alright, so that's all the basics of Photoshop, and I better stop there. Thank you for watching my tutorials, and I will see you next week with the first Photoshop tutorial. Thanks guys, and I will see you next week.